Hey guys, and welcome back to the Deep Threats Podcast. We are glad to be here today, and I am happy to have anybody who's out there in the chat. Thank you, Race I Win. I'm assuming that's the hyphenated.
That's a catchy name. Actually, the more I read it.
Yeah, I know. So thank you for being here today. As always, you have me, KJAM, your host of the show. You have my wonderful co-host, Wheels. He's here.
What a day of football. Wow, a lot of weird plays, a lot of weird fantasy points. We'll talk about that. We got some controversy in the Chiefs game, but that doesn't surprise anyone.
Right, and as always, we're going to reverse this today. We are going to talk about the Mahomies and the Swifties today. We're going to start off with that game, get it in and out of the way. There's 3 controversies in games this weekend. One is AFC North related, and I'm probably going to get into it just a little deeper just because I wanted to have a conversation with you guys and want to see where your head's at. The Kansas City Chiefs game, I feel bad for the Jets personally. I really do. But at the same time, you kind of went into this situation knowing Zach Wilson wasn't a prodigy. He played very well yesterday. It was a solid game for Zach Wilson, and I feel like the refs did everything they could to give Patrick Mahomes all of the first downs he needed to complete all of his drives, which is kind of frustrating. But from a Browns perspective, I saw a lot of that in that game yesterday also. So go ahead. Let me know what you got, Wheels, today, what you were thinking about that game. And by the way, the final of that game, if you didn't catch it, was 25-20, Kansas City Chiefs.
So I don't want to be that guy. I hate being that NFL watcher, that NFL fan to say, the refs controlled this game. But when you look at the way this game played out, when you look at some of the calls, where they were made, how late some of these flags were thrown, it seems that, you're getting closer and closer to that side of the play or that side of the ball. No pun intended. But the most egregious one was the hold on number 11. I don't remember his name, honestly, for the Jets. The guy had him like this, pulling him to the side, and he's hitting him on the helmet. The Jets player's like, hey, trying to get the refs' attention, and the refs are just, Ray Charles looking the other way. They don't care. Well, and that's right. That has to be one of the worst hold calls that I have seen all season.
So the most egregious thing there is that, it's not only that, that really affected the play. Because if he could at least cut off that hole that Patrick Mahomes had, a 15-yard hole in the middle of the field, and he ran for 20 yards to get their first down. I think they were first or 3rd and 20 or something like that.
And there was a penalty thrown on that play.
And it was on the
on the Jets.
It was on the Jets for holding.
It would have offset, so you would have had a replay of downs.
It is kind of crazy that it was on the Jets for holding, and you couldn't see the one right in front of your eyes the whole time.
And then there was another one that involved Sauce Gardner, which he said on Twitter, maybe if I was a Swiftie, they wouldn't have thrown the flag.
And that's why I said I'm not a Mahomie and I'm not Swiftie. No, but you know where you can find them all at is in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's just, the play happened. It developed. Sauce Gardner kind of...
Aaron, you didn't see the Kansas City Chiefs Jets game yesterday, huh? Yeah, the Gardner call. I see what you're saying. I saw this on Twitter today. So a lot of people argued that call you were talking about from the offensive lineman, because he had him up in the shoulder pads, it's not considered a holding call. The reason I find that an egregious statement is because he tried to release and pull back, and he didn't let go. Yeah. He didn't let him pull back. So that's the true definition of a holding call. But to be honest with you, as a Browns fan, I hear this from people all around. You can't. The refs are the weather. You can't let the weather dictate the game.
No, you can't.
So in reality, the Jets are struggling this season. I actually think a lot of people need to understand that Kansas City Chiefs are struggling this season, and outside of one game, they've been struggling the other 3.
No, and
they've only had one walk-away game.
So and then obviously we'll talk, the Sauce Gardner happened, they threw the interception, the flag went down after the interception. But going back to your saying of the struggling, they shut down Travis Kelce in that game, which seemed like, the best thing to do for this team. So maybe, this is a blueprint for the rest of the league. If you can shut down Travis, you're going to give up some plays to everybody else. But guess what? They're not big playmakers. There's really, truly no true other playmaker, I would have to say, on that team right now that I can put my money on, other than Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and maybe Pacheco. Pacheco had a good game.
Aaron, man, defense wins championships. I have this argument all day. That's the reason why I think the Chiefs struggle as much as they do. Look they didn't have a defense that first game, and they practically lost it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, normal as far as the Jets go. I like that statement. By the way, kudos to, I wanted to look this stat up today. I don't remember who was talking to Chris Jones at post game.
Rodney Harrison. Rodney Harrison, yeah.
I wanted to know what his stats were his first 3 years of his career to see if he was garbage. Because, to be honest, like, everybody that I'm like me sitting behind here, I can sit here and talk shit on Zach Wilson all day. But I know if I step on that field, Zach Wilson's going to look like Tom Brady standing next to me.
Yeah.
So he's the cream of the crop, but he's the bottom of the cream.
Yeah,
like
you always go to games, and I hear it all the time, football games, baseball games. Oh, I could do. You can't. You know what? You can't. You're a high school guy. You haven't amounted to anything else. And these guys are the top 1% of athletes. We are lucky to.
They're less than that. They're 0.007% of all NFL of all football.
Over half the league is undrafted. These guys, you are not near their level. You're not even in the same solar system as these players. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's true.
All right, so we'll get out of that one. Garrett Wilson did what Garrett Wilson could do yesterday, which was good. I don't remember who had the touchdowns on the Jets.
Was it Lazard?
I have no idea.
It was Lazard, but
you guys might know better than me.
I do want to throw some respect at Zach Wilson. I've hated on him for a long time.
He looked good. He outside of the fumble.
Yeah, he has grown up. From last year.
Well, I'm not going to go that far.
As mentality-wise, he's grown up. I think he's gotten the respect of the locker room.
He was crying on the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he stepped up as much as he could. He won that game. For me, he won respect. In my heart, he won that game, and I hope, they can continue the season with success. It's a long season. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. We always say that. There's going to be a lot of changes on that team that can make that team very, very special in the next coming weeks. That defense is, I would have to say, probably the best defense in the NFL right now. Maybe next to the Browns, other than this week, they looked bad.
So that being said, the other controversial game I want to say was the Washington game, and that was the step out of bounds. Now, this one to me is absurd. You see the screenshot as he's touching the line, but people need to understand he's not on the grass. He's on the guy's arm. Therefore, he's in the air the entire time until he touches that sideline.
Exactly.
Therefore, that step is out of bounds. I don't even want to get into that game because
there was a lot of weird calls.
That game went better than I expected it. Remember, I said that was going to be...
We said it was going to be the
Tampa Bay game, and I said Philly's going to walk over him. Right. Yeah, I mean, Scary Terry got his. It was a good game for everybody. Sam Howell looked pretty solid in that game.
Yeah, I mean, Eric, again, I'll keep pumping up Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy seems to just want to be an offensive head coach. He knows how these quarterbacks run. He likes, being kind of behind the scenes and just, mentoring and molding these guys, which he seems to be doing very well with Sam Howell. And Sam Howell is progressing at a very decent rate other than all the other quarterbacks that was taken in his draft because Kenny Pickett has not looked good. I think Matt Canada...
I still think Sam Howell is Baker Mayfield. I haven't seen much different.
He may very well be, but as of right now, he is the best quarterback.
They both have the same record, don't they?
Who?
Tampa Bay won yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they both are 3-1.
But Sam Howell is the best
quarterback. Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they both lost to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Their only losses to the Eagles, both of them. Yeah. So they're following in each other's footsteps this year.
But Sam Howell is the best quarterback out of that draft class. Out of Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder, again, we'll talk about him. He has looked bad. I would not be surprised in the next couple of weeks that if you see Taylor Heineke step in there and kind of cement his role.
Sam Howell's 2-2, Baker's 3-1.
Okay.
I lied.
I get it. But again, I'm hoping, again, I'm going to root for all these guys. Even Lamar, a lot of these guys I'm not a huge fan of. Rivalries, I'm going to root for him. I mean, Kenny Pickett, I don't
root for the decline of anybody in the NFL except for TJ Watt. And it's not because I hate TJ Watt. I'm just so sick of Steelers fans. I love the Watt family. I'm so sick of TJ or free Steelers fans. How did the Commanders blow a lead? They were up like 21-7. It's pretty bad.
Their secondary definitely needs some help.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna fix that in this.
Well,
draft.
I think here's the thing with the blown lead. Like Philly is a team that usually comes on late. They do struggle in that first quarter. And then on top of that, they run the ball well, so that runs defenses down. So when your quarterback can run, when your receivers can run.
I mean, they have good running backs. I mean, you got Kenneth Gainwell, you have Boston
it's not even
Scott,
that.
you have DeAndre Swift.
They'll use Devonta Smith in the run game. Like they'll use A.J. Brown in the quick screen, and then now he's got to do. By the way, That game solely was on A.J. Brown. All of the yards at the catch. Like, A.J. Brown looked like a monster yesterday in that game. And we called it, remember? We said A.J. over Debo all day yesterday.
Devontae.
No, it was Debo. Well, no, it was Debo because we were asked who to start. And I would say A.J. over Debo all day yesterday. Because Devontae Smith, I mean, he got 15. He got what he should be getting every game.
Like we said, for that team, they run it more of an air raid kind of college offense because that's what that team is kind of built to play like.
Who?
And the Philly.
Okay.
And you have these guys, Devontae and you got A.J. Brown, and they're each going to get theirs, not every single week, but you're the closer you get.
I agree with what he's saying. Like, he's talking about the defense of the Commanders. You know what? The best thing for the defense of the Commanders is for Babyface to get knocked out. I can't remember his name. Kid from Ohio State.
Chase Young.
Their defense plays ridiculously better. When he's out out of the field.
They didn't pick up his fifth-year option, so they most likely he's done with the Washington, I would have to imagine. They're going to draft a secondary.
The fifth-year option is so expensive for that position. They can sign him for less money. Yeah, they can sign him for less money. And he didn't play for like a solid 3 years, really.
No, he's been injured his entire career.
But when he's not on the field, they play better. It's really weird.
Yeah, there was another rough one to watch.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
Every AFC North game was rough to watch personally, even as a Browns fan. Bengals, I think they should have just sat Joe Burrow for 4 games.
Yeah, I mean,
at this point, you're 1-3.
We said that before the Rams game, kind of too, and before the Browns game, we with that calf injury. Why rush in your expensive franchise quarterback? You're not doing anything, That division, you can still win with sitting him for 4 weeks. Now he's playing on an injury, which is going to be having him come back even slower.
I think they should sit him at least to the bye week at this point. At least to the bye week. If you win games, congratulations. If not, and here's what I do say: they need to trade Joe Mixon because Joe Mixon's at that point, and they're not utilizing Joe Mixon. Trade him. Because I don't know why you have an injured quarterback and you're not deciding to utilize your running back at all. The Tennessee Titans defense is not that good. I mean, when I say not that good, it's above 15, but it's not top 10 just because of coaching, not talent levels. Joe Mixon to the Queens. Joe Mixon to the Queen. I don't get that reference.
Joe Mixon to the Queens.
Minnesota? No.
Maybe
is that Mary, I don't get that reference. I feel stupid now.
Mayor Aaron Mini.
Oh, I did have it right. I'm sorry. I've never heard that before.
No, Madison isn't awful.
Madison actually had the best day this year yesterday.
Yeah.
Madison was averaging over 4 yards a carry.
Yeah,
and I think that's because they took Cam Akers and put a flame up his ass. He's like, I gotta run or I'm losing a job.
And sometimes that's what you need. I mean,
I get the reference. Okay.
Mini.
I got you.
Vikings.
Yeah, they're Queens, not Vikings.
They're not playing like Kings.
Yeah, right. I mean, their offense is playing like Vikings. Just they don't have. You know what? You can't go trade Zadarius Smith and Dalvin Tomlinson and expect to have the same defense. Like you just can't. Look what that impact has done. Those two alone to the Browns.
Well, those were solid. Those were solid defensive pieces for that team. And now
I did not know that. That is awesome to know. That is awesome to know. I live in Minnesota. Most people call them the Queens. When I
forgot you lived in Minnesota, Aaron.
That is awesome.
I play fantasy with.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
He's been a lifelong Jets fan.
You know what's funny is I want to have a debate day because I've been trying to get my sister on the show. She's a Green Bay fan, along with Johnny. Bo's a Chicago Bears fan.
I mean, I can.
We were looking for a Minnesota. Anybody can be a Lions truther at this point.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? Minnesota's screwing me over like $5,000 because I bet on them to win the division. It looks like I'm not getting this one.
Minnesota won me $420 last weekend, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, so
I had a whole bunch of player props last weekend.
So the last thing that is controversial to me, and this is the Browns, it's the AFC North thing. Not because it's the Browns, more because of the coaching aspect. I think this is a hot seat at this point.
Yeah, so Kevin Stefanski.
And let me give you what I think is happening. I think a lot of people say that Kevin Stefanski is the smartest person in the room. I've been around. Okay. A lot of people think that Kevin Stefanski thinks that he is the smartest person in the room. Here's what I think Kevin Stefanski did yesterday, and I am not like if I had to put betting money on this is what I think Kevin Stefanski did, and I would put money on it. He said, "I am so sick of people saying, start DTR, start DTR, start DTR." So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to start DTR. Now, mind you, I think that was circumstantial. I think the opportunity was there. There's an injury. He starts DTR. We're going into a bye week. You're better off sitting your quarterback, letting him get healthy. I think there's a lot of smart plays there. I think you should not start Deshaun Watson in a game. The other thing is you don't throw the ball 75% of the time.
Now, 36
when you
times.
have a rookie quarterback in the game.
And with trick plays, flea flickers, laterals.
Against
a top 5 defense.
Top 5 defense.
Yeah.
So like CJ Stroud, right? He comes in the league. He doesn't go up against top 5 defenses. He plays against probably one of the worst divisions in the league.
Yeah.
And he throws the ball 45 times a game.
He's playing very well right now.
Right. And right now they're 2-2. And they're first in their division. Yeah. So D'Amico looks like a genius. Stefanski looks like an idiot. Because now he took DTR, who's a RPO quarterback, made him pass the ball. No, he's not. He's Deshaun Watson, but he's not anywhere near as talented. But he's an RPO quarterback, and you're running the ball less than 14 to 20% of the time in the entire game, and you didn't give him any of those options, and you just let them come eat him. Now, mind you, DeJuan Jones got exposed yesterday. Jedrick Wills got exposed yesterday.
And that's every week.
And the thing is, they played to the whistle, those guys on the Ravens. Those two offensive linemen never played to the whistle, and that was exposed immediately. But Stefanski, I think he did this on purpose to just shut fans up. As a fan, I don't like that. I think you should go out there to win games, not to prove a point.
Yeah, it was definitely a shady. I mean, this is literally what Stefanski did. So that's Deshaun Watson. This is DTR. Here's the playbook.
That suit was ridiculous, by the way.
Here's the game plan for Deshaun Watson. Go out there, good luck. They didn't change anything. They didn't change the playbook. They didn't change anything. They made a taking a couple plays out, but Kevin Stefanski is shooting himself in the foot right now, and he's giving every
Aaron, I completely freaking agree with you.
Fuel to the fire, because guess what? Ever since the the Coach of the Year in 2018?
His first year here. When Baker went to the playoffs and they lost that first round.
2019, 2020. It's been downhill. His ceiling was that, and he has just taken a step below every single year.
Dude, Aaron, I can't disagree with you anymore. I've been hyping on the fact that Stefanski. I mean, the reason Stephon Diggs is no longer in Minnesota is single-handedly because Stefanski.
Yeah,
single-handedly because Stefanski. So. And the reason Dalvin Cook was so good in Minnesota was single-handedly because Stefanski.
Yeah, he was opposite. He literally
didn't he run Adrian Peterson? Was he there when AP was there?
I think he was I don't know if he was an OC. He might have been a quarterback's coach at that time.
Yeah,
he has been with the Vikings for a while before he came to Cleveland. But yeah, he ran heavily with Dalvin Cook. Then he came to Cleveland like, let's switch it up. Flip of a coin. We're gonna pass now.
He's disgusting.
It's making no sense. It's making no sense at all.
It's his last year. I actually said if he has the point where he goes less than 8 wins, he's gone.
I mean, if
I don't care if Nick Chubb's injured.
No.
Less than 8 wins, you're gone. That means you can't adjust the play call. You have Amari Cooper, Deshaun Watson. You traded a second pick for Elijah Moore. You have one of the top 5 paid tight ends on that field. You went and signed Kareem Hunt, who didn't play bad his first 2 weeks back. He gone. If he doesn't win 8 games, he's gone.
I think he's gone anyways at the end of the year. Unless we make playoffs, he's gone.
But since we're in this boat, somebody put a tweet out there yesterday. Most points scored against in the AFC North was the Steelers. I'm done with Steelers fans saying they have a good defense.
But their defense got exposed. You know who's good on your defense?
They got exposed by a rookie quarterback.
TJ
by the way, who called that?
One guy.
Who called that? And by the way, you watched that whole game. They did not double or triple TJ Watt once. TJ, you are not in the MVP talk on defensive. It's Aiden Hutchinson. It's Myles Garrett. Shit, it might be Max Crosby. It might be what's the dude out of Patriots? It's Judon, Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon looked good. That game. Hang me in a noose.
Me too.
That was such a bad call on me.
Wrong.
I thought the fact that Belichick pulled out Mac Jones of that game and said he was playing so shitty I had to pull him. He's still my starter. but he was bad in that game.
Telling.
The Dallas defense scored 2 defensive touchdowns in under a minute.
Yeah. But again, you had Dak who looked mid. Dak didn't do anything. Dak looked
He didn't have
average.
to. His defense had all the points.
That's what I hate. Oh, Dak's a top 5 quarterback. Dak isn't top 10. I'm sorry, Dak's not a top 10 quarterback.
Arizona.
You have a good defense.
I know, Race. I took Arizona, though. That was awesome. I loved every second. You must not be a Mac Jones fan.
No, he's a Jets fan. He hates Belichick. Remember?
Oh, yeah. The other game that I thought was enjoyable to watch was the Cardinals game, man. I just love watching Dobbs. He did as much as he could against that defense.
That dude, I loved watching him with Tennessee as a Vols quarterback. He got drafted to Pittsburgh, came to Cleveland. Now he has a starting job where he's starting to get tempo, building up some of that rapport, building up that
Did you see his tweet?
Consistency.
I bet you wish you still had me, Cleveland.
Did he?
Yeah, he tweeted, I bet you wish you still had me, Cleveland.
Yeah, when you're playing like he is, you can say that.
So fun. You know what? Same thing in
Baker.
Well, same thing in the Steelers. Like, he's played better than Pickett.
Yeah,
and they cut him. They drafted him.
Pickett's bad. I loved Pickett. I don't know if it's Matt Canada. I don't know if it's just his ability, but Pickett is bad.
But Race, just an FYI, Race, I put money on the 49ers yesterday. I couldn't do it. I tried. I couldn't bet on the Cardinals. The 49ers is just steamrolling downhill right now. What did you love? What did you say? Pickett's ass?
Pickett's ass. I was dead wrong.
Wait, you can hurt. Oh.
He knows. Aaron knows. I give him 3 years. You know that.
Speaking of Pickett, did we hear anything on Pickett's injury?
Not that I heard of.
Okay, because he was out of the game for a knee injury, so we need to keep an eye on that. We'll
Fire Matt Canada is trending on Twitter for the second. It's
got to be trending every time they touch a football.
Probably. It's 3rd and 20. Let me run a jet sweep to the outside.
The Broncos beat the Bears, which means the Bears are looking to draft a quarterback next year.
There's a knee injury. Yeah, but we haven't heard anything else on it, is what I'm saying. I haven't heard if it's any type of MCL bone bruise.
Justin Herbert fractured a finger on his non-throwing hand.
He'll play.
So he's going to continue to play.
They tape it up. He'll tape it up and play.
The Chargers actually won that game.
Let's talk about the the Bears-Denver game.
What is there to talk about? The fact that 2 shitty teams...
And they blew a 28-7 lead?
No. The fact that Denver gave up a perfect game to Justin Fields, who hasn't played even close to mediocre.
And then Denver won.
And then Denver wins.
Chicago is
playing the Arizona Cardinals' hand. They're like, we're going for the first-round pick again, baby.
That's the Chicago way to lose the game.
By the way,
sorry.
I just saw a mock draft for Chicago yesterday.
They're taking
Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison.
Yeah. Yep.
At 1 and 2.
See it. Why not?
Well, don't they have... They have Houston's.
Yeah, they have 2 first rounds.
Oh, no, they have Carolina's.
Yeah, you're right.
Carolina's 0-4, and Chicago's 0-4. The Vikings won a game, so we now have the only 2 0-4 teams left, and it is Chicago and Carolina. Undefeated teams are still Philly. Is Kansas City undefeated, or did they lose one?
They lost
the first one. Detroit,
we called that,
right?
Too.
Miami is undefeated. Oh, no, Miami lost. They got destroyed by Buffalo. By the way, hack us on that one.
I don't watch you, then I don't either.
Jets lose out the rest of the season, and they have their first to draft Williams and bring back around next season. Let's go.
Yeah, I hope they do. I hope Caleb Williams goes to that team and sits behind Rodgers for a year.
Just an FYI, Mayor. Were you here when I was talking about the fact that Aaron Rodgers is like literally Zach Wilson's dad, and he wants to see him succeed? If anything happens with Aaron Rodgers, is not going to let them draft Caleb. They will draft Marvin Harrison. They will draft the best defensive player. They are not going to let them draft a quarterback. I'm just letting you know that.
I would love to have Marvin Harrison on that team. You got Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison. Whoa, I'll start watching Jets football then.
I'm just letting you know.
Sign me up, Aaron.
Everything has gone the way that it was like spoken about in the offseason, was that, they went and finally got the OC. Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson, he loved Aaron Rodgers all his younger career. He's reached out to him. He's talked to him. He's met him in camp. And it's... Okay. As long as you understand that you're in dreamland. Okay.
I could see Marvin Harrison going there. I mean, their defense is pretty stout. You could add a little depth there.
To your defense, Aaron, a lot of people pull me out of my dreamland when I watched Cleveland Browns games. I went to a Ravens fan's house yesterday and had to hear it for at least a solid 3.5 hours. So that was not enjoyable.
No way.
But Roquan is legit, though.
He's a bitch.
Roquan is such a... He's a bitch, but he's legit.
Off a helmet.
Oh, that hit was bad. The fact that was not called...
He is a tool.
Oh, I mean, he's coming for your head. You know what? Football used to be played that way. And by the way,
but if you hold
on. Let's talk about that Chargers game. The expulsion of a guy who hit you on the sideline, he should not have been kicked out of that game.
No.
It's a 15-yard personal foul penalty. He hit him as he stepped on the line.
These refs have too much power. That's the issue. These refs have too much power, and the NFL needs to, take hold of this. Maybe some fans need to come together and, do the thing that happened with the kneeling is, boycott a little bit, and they kind of changed all that. Maybe that's what needs to happen because these refs need to be held accountable. They do. They need to be held accountable.
It's ridiculous.
Because at some point, it's ruining the game, and we see it weekly. There's always a couple really big questionable calls that affect the game.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't care what he said. I don't care what he said.
But that wasn't even enough. Exactly.
As a football fan for the Browns, I don't know if you remember the Mason Rudolph hit when somebody got ejected and Mason Rudolph didn't even get punished. Like, I have a feeling Mason Rudolph may have said some vulgar things along with hitting a guy in the nuts.
Yeah, he might have said something's racist. But,
and by the way, Pouncey never said he didn't. So they don't care.
Mason Rudolph's no
they
longer
don't
in
care.
the NFL.
Yeah, they don't care. What they said is we need the Chargers to win at least one.
I remember that well.
Yeah, I wanted to make shirts for that, but I never did it.
I have one.
I know you do. So the other thing, I think that might actually be it. Did you have anything else in those games? I mean, we called the Texans game.
Let's talk about the Indy game.
Oh, yeah. Anthony Richardson came back, looked well. Rams went up really fast, and then they exposed the Colts defense, which it hasn't been good.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, there's Anthony Richardson, like we said, he's going to take some time to, come into his own. He's not super NFL ready.
I don't even blame that game on Anthony Richardson. There was a lot of drop balls. There was a lot of drop balls in that game.
This is my rule. If it hits your hands, it's catchable. With the gloves that they wear in the NFL right now, it's like
when you throw 95 miles an hour, it's not catchable. That's Baker's biggest issue, remember?
Yeah, you get paid to catch a ball,
but
kind of your job.
I think we're going to have a day where I think me and Wheels are going to sit down. I think, so bye weeks are coming up this week on Sunday, and I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to do like a quick half an hour at the beginning of the show, and we're going to go over like current MVP talks for offensive and defensive players. Give us about 20 minutes to talk about that. We'll come up with some guys. Well, that's rookie. That'd be a rookie. He wouldn't get offensive.
You're right. Offensive rookie.
Right now, CMC I know is in charge, and then defensive players. I mean, it's pretty up there. I love Tua. Don't get me wrong, but I hate having quarterbacks always on the top of the list.
So I agree with you. I think there should be a quarterback MVP and a offensive player MVP outside of quarterback because. We had, I don't know if, obviously I'm going to switch to talk to college real quick. The Heisman Trophy winner, Devontae Smith, was the most recent wide receiver to win a Heisman Trophy. Other than that, I think it was like 18 or 16 quarterbacks, and there was another wide receiver.
Oh, that's right. Joe Burrow won it over Chase Young that year, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. And then you had,
that's right.
Like you said, you have Devontae Smith, Caleb Williams, looks like he's going to go back-to-back with it, or Michael Penix.
Hey, you know what's
I could see.
I'm so proud of you for doing that to me. You know what I'm kind of curious of? So, like, I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail, but Wheels made a wonderful meme with the thumbnail. So, are you only comparing him to Carson Wentz because he went to the Super Bowl and hasn't done anything since? Or are you comparing him to Carson Wentz because he's ginger?
Kind of both. I wanted to do Andy Dalton, but I felt like that was lazy because they're on the same team.
That is perfect. Well, no, because Andy Dalton couldn't make it through the playoffs at all.
And then that's why. It's just obviously we think he's going to do well, but I mean, like we said,
we're Joe Burrow fans, so you're not going to see us knock Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow is playing anybody in the AFC North, I'm rooting for his losing every year. But I am a Joe Burrow fan, and I hope he succeeds. I just hope he never makes it to the Super Bowl.
You won't trade me Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's rude. He has my boy, and he won't even trade me. I said, tell me what it's going to take. He said, no, you're not having him. I need him. I need it.
I would trade Amon-Ra right before Jameson Williams comes back. I would. So I guess that being said, let's go into tonight's game. The wonderful game tonight.
So,
what do you think about this? This is at home for the Giants.
So tonight,
no Saquon Barkley still, right?
Yeah, notice he's doubtful, which he's not playing. If you're doubtful,
last time we said somebody was doubtful, they played. I was pissed. Oh, we were wrong about that. I said Deshaun Watson was for sure going to play, but I made sure I posted on Twitter and on YouTube that DTR was in while I was sitting in church, and I was like, I probably shouldn't be doing this.
Drastic times calls for drastic measures. So
that
tonight
sucked.
you have two overpaid quarterbacks that have yet to prove they are worth the money. In my opinion, with Geno Smith and Daniel Jones, they both got paid.
Isn't Geno Smith averaging like 40 points a game?
No.
I want to disagree with you, but I don't know if I can look that up super quick.
Let me see.
So they are favored in this game. Does it have it underneath on covers?
Geno Smith's stats this year are 736 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. So, I mean, he hasn't been worth, I think he's making $28 million or something.
He's been worth more than Danny Dimes. More than Jimmy Garoppolo. More than Joe Burrow.
I'm not disagreeing.
More than Lamar
there.
Jackson.
Well, Lamar Jackson's a running back. He's not a quarterback, so it's a little bit different if you look at the way he's paid.
More than more than Patrick Mahomes.
Hey, Aaron, this is for you. Patrick Mahomes is a system quarterback.
Oh, my God. Bieniemy's making him look that way, though. Bieniemy is making Patrick Mahomes look like he's okay. I'm just saying, like, if Kelsey's gone, what can Patrick Mahomes do?
That's his one and only. That's his one and only weapon.
They better draft Marvin Harrison. I don't care how they get it done. Trade the next 5 years first to get that first overall. You need a receiver, bro.
Finally, yes. See, he told me to say it a couple of shows ago when he was watching.
Preach, baby, preach.
Right there, you go. Okay. Preach.
I won't ever say he's a system quarterback, but I will say how much of Bieniemy was his success. And right now, Sam Howell might have more points per game than the Chiefs. I'm just saying.
Hold on.
I don't 100% know, but they might.
So right now, stats-wise, Mahomes is 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Sam Howell is 961 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So he's thrown more picks, which he had one game of the 4 picks against Buffalo, so a very good defense, secondary-wise. If you take that out, he's 4-1.
So they've scored 100 points, the Seattle Seahawks.
The Seahawks?
Mm-hmm. Wow. In 4 games. 3 games.
Damn.
Wait a minute. Something's got to be. Is that last year?
There's no way.
That's last year. Why wouldn't you give me this year's? How stupid.
There's no way.
Give me points scored.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Points for the Seahawks are, you just go to standings, buddy. 87. So 87 in 3 weeks. Because this is their 4th week game. So hold on. I'm not good at math. I'm a little slow.
Oh, that's preseason, I think.
87 divided by 3 is 29. So 30 points. I'm not good at math.
That's pretty darn good. That's got to be top of the league. That's got to be top of the league.
It's hard to compare what the games that have been played.
You know what's funny? I used to know how to look this up on covers.com, and now I don't know if I can.
The most points scored in the league is the Dolphins, 150.
Well,
and then
they scored 70 in 1 week.
And then
it's an obvious.
And then Buffalo at 139.
He's such a dick. I hate you right now.
The lowest points for it is.
It might be the Jets even after that 20 points. It might
be the Jets. The Jets are at 62. Oh no, it's the Giants.
All right, so points per game. It is number 1 Miami, 43. Number 2 Buffalo, number 3 San Fran, number 4 Dallas, number 5 Philly, number 6 Seattle. They're just out of the top 5.
Okay, so they're top 6.
So he's scoring more points per game than Kansas City.
Yeah, the Giants are at 62.
Cincinnati.
43.
You know what? Cincinnati's only scored like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they've been bad.
They are the worst scoring team in the NFL right now. Holy cow.
Yeah,
that
49.
Is ridiculous. And the Giants are right there.
God.
That's it. Right there. That's it. Seattle wins tonight's game. They're the 6th highest scoring, and the Giants are the 30th highest scoring offense in the league. That's it right there. That's what I'm calling it. Make your bets tonight.
The score will be 30-14.
The Giants are averaging 14.3 points per game.
The New Jersey Giants, you are not wrong.
And the Jets are averaging 29 points per game.
Yeah.
All right, so fantasy.
Start. I'm setting.
It's too late, right? Too late to tell you who to start because you probably already have them in your lineup.
I would sit.
But I will
Daniel
say,
Jones.
if Wan'Dale Robinson is still sitting out there, you need to pick the motherfucker up.
Yeah.
Like, Wan'Dale should be on your roster at this point.
Yeah, even if he's riding your bench until you have some confidence in him, or if he starts to score some points with the Giants, you have to pick him up. He is a wide receiver 1, I would have to think, on that team. It's just that wide receiver room's a little goofy. They have a lot of guys.
That's an understatement.
I'm just not sure who's
a lot of guys.
I have JSN. I'm stashing him still, and even in a redraft, I'm not dropping him because I think eventually he will get his. It's just going to take some time, and I wouldn't be surprised if DK or Tyler Lockett has an injury because Tyler Lockett, I think, has had a couple injuries in the past few years where, either one of them may miss a couple games, and, that could get you a win for the week. So,
Paris Campbell, do you start?
Lockett,
do you sit
underrated,
him?
yes. Paris Campbell, yeah. I like a Darren Waller game.
Yeah, you said that last week, and it didn't look good.
I like a Darren Waller game.
I like Isaiah Hodgins. I still do. I like Isaiah Hodgins. Breida had a good game when Saquon was out, if I remember correctly.
No.
He didn't?
He did not have a good game. No, I think he had like 6.9 points.
All right. I mean, maybe it's a Danny Dimes game. I don't know if they can really stop the run for Danny Dimes. I know I was wrong last week. I thought Danny Dimes was going to run for 40, and he ran for 6.
This is a game I've said this before, but this is a game within the first 3 possessions, you'll know how the outcome's going to be.
No, I know as soon as the ball gets snapped. It's Seattle's game.
It's Seattle's game to lose.
Seattle's averaging 29 points a game. I'm starting Kenneth Walker. I'm starting Tyler Lockett. I'm starting DK Metcalf. JSN can still sit on the bench. To be honest, don't start a single one of their tight ends because they use 3 of them.
DK, you got to start. Yeah, Lockett, you got to start.
Geno, I'm starting, especially in a super flex.
Yeah, JSN, I would not start right now.
I'd still hold off on JSN.
Yeah, you like I said, you got to wait till he gets a little bit more targets because his target share has not been what we had thought it would be with him coming out.
But to be honest, outside of Daniel Jones, I don't know if I start a single person on that roster because there's so many.
No,
I guess if you needed a wide receiver,
I would start Waller.
A wide receiver. I personally would say
Wan'Dale.
Obviously, if you have Darren Waller, you're probably starting him. Yeah, I would assume.
I like Wan'Dale. Well,
Wan'Dale's not even on the starting roster, right?
What?
Yeah, well, he's their 4th receiver.
How? The dude is so much
because you have Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, Paris Campbell.
I forget the head. I had to
so
forget
Wan'Dale will be in their PPR based. I just don't see touchdowns for Wan'Dale, so I don't know if you can start Wan'Dale if you need a guy.
I wouldn't start Slayton. I wouldn't start.
To me, it's Hodgins Campbell. I would probably I lean on Hodgins because I like Isaiah Hodgins, and I think ever since he came in his rookie year, he's performed fairly well.
I do like Campbell this game because when he was with Indy a few years back.
Just last year.
Yeah, but when he was in the few years,
he had 1,000 yards last year.
Yeah, in the few years he played with the Colts, he's always had those breakout games. Have 25 or 22, and then he'll have the lower games, obviously, but a pop up. And this could definitely be a game like that. I could see him getting a touchdown and 67 yards, and 5 receptions. Like this could be a game that could definitely happen in. So I would start Paris Campbell, because Daniel Jones is another guy who spreads the ball around. He doesn't really have a favorite target outside of Saquon Barkley, who is now out. So I think, again, he has to spread the ball around, or else, he's going to be running for his life all night. He may very well be doing that anyway.
I'm going to also look at this one probably later this week, but there's a few things that have been happening in the NFL, and it's shitty teams playing shitty defenses looking like great offenses early on, and then shitty defenses playing shitty offenses looking like great defenses early on. So those things have been happening, right? The Seattle is actually giving up more points per game than they're making.
Yeah.
So they're giving up 29.3 points per game.
Good.
Well, the reason I'm bringing that up because does the Giants have the capability to get those 29.3 points per game, even though they're only getting 14 points per game.
They don't. With Barkley out, I don't think they touch above two touchdowns.
And the Giants got to be giving up.
I would see that as a rushing touchdown for Daniel Jones, and I would say.
I called that yesterday, by the way. Sorry about that, guys. I said Josh Allen rushing touchdown. I said Lamar Jackson rushing touchdown. And I said Anthony Richardson rushing touchdown.
Yeah, you did.
I called that yesterday. I should have bet on that one. I felt stupid.
I would have paid out well for any times.
I felt so stupid. I don't know if I could bet on Danny Dimes for rushing, but I think if he has to win, he's going to have to. He's going to have to.
I could see obviously him getting a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown, whether that's to Darren Waller or Paris Campbell. Again, I said Paris Campbell, but it could definitely be Darren Waller. Where
the Giants give
Waller
up.
Has
the Giants give up.
Campbell has the yardage.
The Giants give up 32.7 points per game.
Yeah, the Giants.
So they're giving up 3 points more than Seattle's points per game, and then they're also giving up more than Seattle scores per game. I'd almost put. Is this too heavy for the Seattle to win this game? Should we just go right back and just say the Giants win this game because they're just so much leaning on Seattle to win this game?
With the same, Aaron. If you need to rely on Giants player, at this point, you might.
My wife has Mac Jones, Daniel Jones, and Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. She had to start Daniel Jones this week. Thank God she did, because if she started Mac Jones,
what did he score? Like 4 points?
-4 maybe. He threw 2 interceptions. He didn't get a touchdown. They pulled him.
Also, in your leagues, if C.J. Stroud is out there in redrafts for some odd reason, pick him up.
I've been trying to get him on every.
If you have to drop Joe Burrow,
keep in mind he plays some of the weakest defenses going into the year, and now he's getting into his own. If Nico Collins is out there, Tank Dell didn't get targeted yesterday, which is why I lost my money.
Yeah, but Tank Dell had the game the week before. Again,
Yeah, but we said Allen Robinson was falling back, or Robbie. And whatever that
Chosen Anderson?
No.
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods was falling to 3. And Tank Dell was out there. He was getting targets, but wasn't catching them in that game.
C.J. Stroud's another guy. He just throws to the guy. He doesn't have a favorite target right now. I mean, Nico, you can say Nico is with how many points he scored, but you have had Tank Dell that had a good game. You have Nico, who had a couple good games. You have Robert Woods, who had a few good games. Dalton Schultz got a touchdown yesterday and looked pretty good.
I should have bet on the Dalton Schultz target because he had 4 targets.
Yeah. Dameon Pierce.
And his over-under was 2.5.
Dameon Pierce is starting to get up in the passing game as well as the rushing game. So this offense is kind of finding its identity right now in Houston, and I like it because
back to tonight's game.
I know they're
back to tonight's
Houston
game.
A lot of good games.
I understand you want to suck another Houston Texans quarterback's dick.
I'm not Deshaun Watson. Okay.
That's a rub and tug. So the over-under has increased to 46.5 points per game. Or 46.5 is the over-under in this game.
And how much does each defense give up?
Each of them give up 30 on average.
So 60.
That's 60.
I take the...
But is it just leaning towards the over?
I have to take the under.
You're taking the under.
You have Barkley.
Yeah, but they haven't had Barkley for 2 weeks.
No, what a surprise. That's why they didn't pay you.
Hey, by the way, Josh Jacobs showed up yesterday.
Yeah, it's about time.
We called that one, though. We said the Chargers are so bad that it was going to happen.
I mean, Adrian Peterson could probably put up 200 yards on the Chargers right now.
And
at his current age.
Seattle's favored by 2.5 and they're away.
That's a weird line. 2.5 with that team. You're missing, I guess, with the Daniel Jones missing.
I think I'm going to take the over in this game, and I'm going to take it.
I would
35 to 24.
I have 30 to 14.
We both have them covering the spread very handedly.
Yes. So I'm at the under.
By the way, if someone's at home and you want to tally our really shitty picks, because last week was horrendous, and we will help with fantasy, but we are trying to get better at betting because obviously that's why we're in this basement and not really good at betting.
If I was good at betting, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't.
Hey, I've made 2 wins in the last 2 weeks.
Enjoying the mountains and the outdoors.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's all we got for you guys today, unless you guys got anything for us. Like I said, we're going to try to talk about MVP chat.
Breaking news. Kenny Pickett is not expected to miss much time, if any, due to his knee injury that forced him to leave Sunday's game, per Adam Schefter.
All right, there you go. So we have 0 news on Kenny Pickett. Breaking news, no news. I hate Schefter. I hate him.
Oh, Breaking news: the Patriots star pass rusher Matthew Judon and rookie corner Christian Gonzalez are out indefinitely with injuries.
Patriots for Caleb. Oh my God.
Bro. That is rough. I love Gonzalez coming out of Oregon.
Both those guys have already been very impact players.
Yeah.
What does that do to that team?
Well, you lose your best
D-back,
and you lose your
I don't know about best, but he's a very good D-back.
And you lose your best defensive lineman. So, I mean, that opens
We just
up
said
the run
Judon
game
was in conversations.
Take the over in the next Patriots game. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Oh, my God.
Who do they play? They play no, they already played the
All
Chiefs.
right, guys. I hope that was breaking wonderful news for you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day today. You got anything, Wheels, to take away?
No, we will see you at 6 on Thursday, correct?
Yep. We might be able to do it a little earlier, do 5:30 if you want.
Yeah, we will post it to the Facebook page and our Discord. Facebook page is at the Deep Threats Podcast.
Yeah, please like and subscribe or share us. That'd be great. Anything else you guys got out there, please. We want to do some in-depth conversations too, where like you guys want to have those conversations. Yeah. We're gonna try to have like a third or fourth person on those days because we like to get into the greats and we like to get into rules and we like to get into other things off. But during season, it's season time unless there's like a 12-team week where we can have a half an hour before a show.
Yeah, and we do want to talk about the NIL deal.
Yeah, I want to have an off-season talking about NIL and its impact on the NFL, because at this point, we already know the impact on the college, and it's made college way more competitive.
I love it. Yeah, so real quick, I love the NIL. It's good for college. It's making, it's a little bit even across the board. So, but that's all I'm going to say about that. I hope to get in depth with that soon because I love talking college football and NIL deals.
All right, guys. Awesome. I hope you have a wonderful week and enjoy.
See you Thursday.